What's up, everyone? So, it's been some talk about Whoopi's comments lately. And I want to pretty much talk about Jewishness and is being Jew considered a race and what have you. Now, Whoopi said that what those people experienced during the Holocaust wasn't about race, which was an ignorant thing to say because what was all that Nazi propaganda about? Referring to the Jews as an inferior race and amongst other groups like the Slavs, the Romney people, that some may refer to them as gypsies. Other blacks were targeted. Gays were targeted, which we know that's not race, but you see where I'm getting with this? So it was other groups being targeted as well, but you swear up and down it wasn't about race. The Nazis seen anyone who didn't live up to the Aryan race as others. They didn't see Jews during their time period as white or part of their so-called race. Now, are some Jews white? Yes. But there's also Black Jews, Asian Jews. When people say, oh, Jews are white, first off, it's an ethno-religion. A person can be Jewish and not practice Judaism. Hence, Ron Jeremy, he's Jewish, but he doesn't practice Judaism. Bill Maher, he's Jewish. He's an atheist. Howard Stern is a Jew. Doesn't practice Judaism. So, it can go either way. Now, if you convert to Judaism, yeah, you are a Jew. So it's not just one thing. You can be Jewish without practicing the religion. And you can also convert to Judaism and you can still be seen as a Jew. Now, Jews been persecuted for centuries. There's been the stereotype that, they're control the world and blamed for social ills. They were blamed for the Black Plague, seen as Christ killers and all this other stereotype they had on Jews. And not only that, white supremacist groups do not give a fuck about Jews supposedly being white. I mean, try arguing with a white supremacist and they will let you know real quick that the Jews are not part of their race. They see them as other. They don't think they live up to their white standards. Again, are there Jews that are white? Yes, some Jews are white. But what's that saying goes? It really doesn't matter. If bigots tell you don't belong, it really doesn't matter. And we have to be careful when we're looking back at history. We can't look at things in an American lens. Like in this country, we look at things, you're either black or white. other countries don't go by how we look at race. They look at race real differently. So we have to be mindful of that. And we have to be mindful how things were during that time period. Nazi Germany was not caught up in the whole whiteness and all that stuff when they were looking at Jews. They seen them as an inferior race. They felt like if you didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes, you were not considered quote unquote part of the Aryan race, the right weight race. They saw Jews as an other. And it's and over the century it's always been these stereotype like, oh, you can tell who's Jewish by if they had a hook nose or a, curly hair. The stereotype of the Jew fro or whatever. Like personally, I can't tell it unless someone is displaying things that are like quote unquote Jewish, like culturally wise, or a last name. I can't really pinpoint unless you're just going to go by stereotypes of what you think is Jewish. Because, like I said, some Jews are white, and there are also black Jews. There are, I mean, a lot of times when people speak on Jews, it's it's it tends to be Ashkenazi Jews, which are Jews that come from Eastern Europe, places like that. And there's other Jews like the Sephardi Jews, which are Jews from North Africa and places like Portugal and Spain, those Jews. And then there are Jews that's in the Middle East called Mazari. So it's so many diversity in the Jewish community. It's not just one fit all. So, I mean, like I said, do I think Whoopi should have been suspended? I mean, like I said, it's just for 2 weeks. I mean, and the reason why they want to suspend her because they want her to have a self-reflection. Even though she apologized, they want her to self-reflect. Like I said, this is not the first time Whoopi has ever said some ignorant shit over the years. She has. This stems way back to the 90s. And not only that, the people on The View are not the brightest tool in the shed. So it's like, yeah, they're not that bright when it comes to topics. I mean, Whoopi has came up the whole, rape when she was defending Roman Polanski. So I don't expect no intelligence coming out of her mouth. And then she co-signed her ex-boyfriend Ted Danson for running around in blackface back in the 90s. I mean, what do you expect from the likes of Whoopi Goldberg? She's not bright. Let's be real. So, I mean, that's just my take on it. I mean, if someone want to hop on the panel and speak on the Whoopi controversy, you can. Because, like I said, all Jews aren't white. The Jewish community is very diverse. But they came up with stereotypes of what a Jewish person supposedly look like or what have you. And another thing, back in the days, Jews were not always seen as white. They were seen as other. Alongside Irish people, they didn't see them as white during that time period, nor Italians. And then they accepted them in the white race. But the point I'm trying to convey is that's how you know race is a social construct, because they get to make up rules as it goes along. Like, it's a social construct. There's no biological standpoint when it comes to race. It's all that shit is social.
Yeah, Harley, it's me.
Hey.
What's popping, man? Yeah, though. They don't play with them Jews, man. Them Jewish people, they don't play with them Jewish people. It's a difference, man. Them Jewish is them fake Jews. Them white people, know what I'm saying? Them Amalek, know what I mean? They the fakes. They Jewish. They wish to be a Jew. They're not really the Jew. They're not exactly a Jew. They wish to be a Jew. Know what I'm saying? So it's not official. They wish. The real Jews are the Hebrew Israelites, like me and you. We're Jewish. We the real Jews. You know what I'm saying? Most likely you come like your family is African American and all that, right?
Yeah.
All right. So well, most likely you're from the tribe of Judah. You know what I'm saying? My family is Caribbean, you know what I'm saying? Jamaica and Trinity and all that. So that makes me from the tribe of Benjamin, you know what I'm saying? Real talk. So like, yeah, all that them Jewish shit, them people that's fake. That's Amalek, you know what I mean? That's white, you know what I mean? Esau. That's who they are. You know what I mean? They're not the real Jews. We the real Jews.
And then not only that, like it goes by your maternal side. So if your mother is Jewish, you are automatically Jewish. It doesn't matter if you practice religion. Drake is Jewish. His mother is white Jew, and Lisa Bonet's mother was Jewish.
All
Lena
right.
Lenny Kravitz's father is Jewish, but
Right.
according to Jewish tradition, if your mother is Jewish, then you are automatically considered Jewish.
All right. Now check this. You see Drake, right? All right. His father's a black man, right?
Yeah.
All right. So he's a black man. He's black. It's all about the seed of the father. Know what I mean? So he's a real Jew, not a Jewish. His mom is that fake Jewish, now Jewish, but he's a Jew.
And you can also be Jewish and not practice the religion. Like Howard Stern. He's Jewish, but he doesn't practice Judaism. So being Jewish is really an ethno religion. If you convert to Judaism, you're a Jew. Yeah. So anyways,
One second, Harley.
okay. Process Harley Q stated the opposite, right? I mean, people really like stereotype Jewish. They think Jews look a certain type of way. They think Jews look like with the whole the hook nose and shit like that. Like that's all just stereotypes. Process, what is it, paternal or paternal? The maternal side, like Jews, like in Jewish tradition, like it's they focus on your maternal side. Like if your mother is Jewish, you are automatically Jewish. Whether you even practice the religion or not, you are automatically Jewish.
All right, I'm
Drake
back.
Drake is Jewish.
Now, well, he's not necessarily. Now, he's really more of a Jew because his father is black. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the seed of the father. You are what your father is. Your mother could be a white person, could be white, and your dad could be black. That makes you black. You know what I'm saying? If I take an orange seed, right? An orange seed and go to Australia and I plant it, right? What am I going to get?
Like say it again.
If I take an orange seed, right, and I go to Australia, right, and I plant it and all that, what am I going to get?
Mm.
An orange tree. All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Right. Right. So like check this out. It's all about the seed of the father, right? The woman is the soil. You heard? The woman is the soil and the earth. And the man plants his seed into the soil, the woman. Know what I'm saying? And boom, what comes out? A boy or a girl. Know what I'm saying? That's the father, the seed. The father seed. So you are what your father is. You know what I mean? You get me?
Mm. Just going by the Jewish tradition. I
Right.
mean, I mean, there's so many type of Judaism. Like some. Jews, even though like Lenny Kravitz, father is Jewish, was Jewish, whatever.
He's a black man,
Some
right? He's
some
black.
some Jewish community may not consider him Jewish because he's not following his maternal line.
Uh-huh.
So it depends on which Jewish side you're talking about. There's Reform Judaism, there's Orthodox Judaism.
Yeah, that's some other shit. That's bullshit. The real is the Hebrew Israelites. That's the real. Those are real Jews. That's the realness right there. Yasharallah, Prince of the Power. That's what it is. You know what I mean? Real talk. I'm Yasharallah, Prince of the Power, and you are Eve. You are considered an Eve, Harley. You know what I'm saying? Your family is African American. So your nationality is, when somebody asks you what's your nationality, I'm dropping a jewel on you. So, because we don't have a seat at the UN at all. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me, you going about black, African American, and all that other shit. We don't have, there's no seat in the UN called black African American and none of that. There's no country called African American. You know what I'm saying? If you African American, you're a hairstyle from the 70s. You feel me? So like if somebody asks you what's your nationality, you tell them this. I'm a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Judah. That's your nationality.
And see how we do things in this country is totally different how they do things. Everyone around the world have a way of how they construct race. Like again, it's a social construct. Like in this country, we look at everything as black and white. We like it's too complex in other places. It's too complex how they go about things. Okay. For
Mm-hmm.
instance, our ancestors were brought in this country different. We all come from different tribes, like
Right,
cultures. Like even in Africa, other tribes didn't get along with other tribes.
right,
So what we did, or what our people did when they came to this country, because our sense of culture, our language, we formed together and became African American, a new ethnic identity.
right,
And as far as like white people go, all this race shit, it all was to justify colonialism and slavery. It was a way to justify, like, okay, we put these slaves because according to the Bible, if you believe that whole Noah story, about the curses of one of Noah's sons, and represent black people to justify why they enslave us.
right,
Racism was used to justify committing atrocities and to keep people under control. All of that when they got involved in colonialism and slavery. All that was just a justification.
right.
And all these white people that's seen as white, they weren't always seen as white. Hell, back in the days, an Irish person was treated more like shit than a black person. Like they treat them motherfuckers like shit during that time period. Italians weren't seen as white. Anyone that came from Eastern Europe during that time was not seen as white during that time.
The Italians are the Romans, in case you didn't know. They're the Romans.
Well, talent, Rome is from, Italy, so started in Italy, the Romans.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Real
and
talk.
and then everyone gets discriminated against. Like the Romneys, they're like considered an outsider in these European countries. They refer to them as gypsies. They always been considered other. Like their ancestors came from India, so
Like
they consider
indigenous.
India.
Yeah, I know you like in India, but like what you say, like I'm like more like of an indigenous person. Like you said, we took it from Africa, or whatever, and was, know what I mean, placed all over the world, all four corners of the earth. So that makes us indigenous people. You are an indigenous person.
But yeah, they came from India and they dispersed all over Europe or whatever. And they get stereotyped for being thieves or whatever.
Yeah, like Christopher Columbus, for example. That's why they didn't name America after him, because he got caught stealing. He was a Jew. Now I'm saying they named it America Rasputia after some next white guy. For those that do not know, and that white Jesus that you see, that's not Jesus. That's Caesar Borgia. For y'all who don't know, dropping jewels on y'all.
And yeah, so the Nazis also targeted the Romneys. They were targeted, and they're not seen as white. Like, they were never seen as white then, and they're not seen as white now. Like, they see them Europeans see them as other. They don't see them as part of their society, their race or society. Like, people have their way of distinguishing people. Like, it's not the same how we look at things in this country. We look at things based off of phenotype. Them people
Right,
looking at things like on a like how they view you, like ethnically, like even in countries in Africa, they can tell which tribe you come from. They don't care
right.
if yeah, y'all are African, but at the
But you're
same
not.
time, y'all don't have nothing. That's where y'all don't have nothing in common. If y'all in a different tribe, y'all speak different languages. Some of these tribes beef with one another.
Right. Well,
They can distinguish the two, so they don't go by American standards of race.
nope, at all. You're absolutely correct. Know what I'm saying? Real shit. And it's a difference between an African American, Negro, and Africans. We're different. We're not the same. That's why they put us in slavery. First, it was the Arabs was enslaving us, and then the Africans enslaved us too. Know what I'm saying? And then they gave us to the white man. The white man got slavery from the Arabs. Aki in the store, what up? Ak, what's good? Ak, yeah. They used to be your slave masters. Know what I'm saying? The white man got that shit from them.
Yeah, and slavery went on, prior to. I mean, everyone experienced their brand of slavery around the world. It was seen as like if you lost a war, you became a slave. Like, slavery was going on prior to. That's just something people did. Slavery was different than how it became. They turned it into something racially when the Europeans got involved, and some African tribes did sell other tribes to the Europeans.
Right. Just like the people in Africa and Israel and whatever who was suffering, they was broke, they was just, you know what I'm saying? And say some white people from America come over there with a plane, an airplane or a helicopter, and the helicopter says God, you know what I'm saying, on the helicopter. So then they come down, land, and start, you know what I'm saying, giving out food and all that, clothing and shelter and all that other shit, saying, come with us, da da da. Well, I'm your God, I'm your God, I'm your Savior, I'm the Lord, I'm the Most High. And those people will believe it because they're doing something for them. They're giving them food, clothing, and trinkets and all that other stuff. So, like, know what I mean, shit like that. That's what was the reason why the white man was able to enslave us, take us from Africa and bring us over here and enslave us. Because now, I mean, we looked at them as God, even with them giving up the Bibles, giving up that book to the slaves to read and all that other shit. And they say that's a white person's book. It is not.
Yeah, so like I said, like none of this None of this, as far as race go, has a biological standpoint. It's all a social construct at the end of the day. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, all it's not, it doesn't, it's all about how society views you. Like, in a perfect world, everyone should be treated equally.
Exactly.
But when I step out up when I step leave my house, I'm seen as a black woman.
Right.
And even like the whole one drop rule, any trace of black in you, you are seen as black. But
Right.
like in other countries, like in certain like Latin American countries, like Brazil, for instance, they don't go by they don't go by they go by your skin tone. Like they have all these
Hmm.
names, like if you're light skin.
You're powerful or whatever. You're better. You're a good
I
person.
forgot the terms, but like they have different terms based off your skin tone and stuff. They don't
Right.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then in South Africa, they have terms like color. Like if you're mixed race, you're referred to as color. I mean, they don't go by the whole one drop rule like here. And then
Right.
like in Latin American, like I heard, like in places like Puerto Rico, like it's like the opposite with them. Even though you may look phenotypically black, but if you have like a trace of whiteness in you, you can be seen as white.
Right. But long as you know what it is, I gave you the answer and I broke shit down. So you know what it is now. It's all about the seed of the father. If your dad is white, you are white. If your dad is black, you are black. It's all about the seed of the father. So you know now. You got the knowledge. So you know what it is.
And during slavery, if your mother, I'm just speaking on in this country, if you took on the status of your mother in this country, that's how. See, this is another thing. Like when this during the foundation of this country, it didn't start off as race based until much later. What started as race based, what happened? It was an incident where white indenture and another black indenture servant
Be right back,
escaped.
homie.
Yeah. So yeah, it they they tried to escape or what have you, and so they came up with the rule where, okay, we're gonna make the black person be a slave for life, and just let the other two indenture servants work a certain and work a little and then free them. And that's how it became race-based slavery. And you took the status of your mother. If your mother was a slave, then you were a slave. If your mother was free, you were automatically born free. And that's the same for according to Jewish tradition. If your mother is Jewish, then you are automatically Jewish. So yeah, like I said, like when we're going back to history, we have to look at things of how things were during that time period. And Nazi Germany did not go by race how Americans see it. They looked at things real differently. Like they in their mind they had the idea of how you spot a Jew. Like they knew they didn't care about so called this person is white. No, they didn't care about none of that. They spotted who they feel wasn't white enough to their standards, didn't live up to the Aryan race, And they said, "You're not one of us." And they targeted them and killed them. And white supremacists, hell, even the KKK, they don't even care about them supposedly being white. They don't care. They look at, they see, they don't care. They see them as an other. They don't care about the Jews. Like, I mean, they hate them. Like, they don't care about them being one. Try arguing with a white supremacist to see how well that goes. Oh, they're Jewish or white just like you. They will fight tooth and nail. Try doing that. White supremacists do not see Jew, even though there are some white Jews that are white, they do not see them as such. Them white supremacists. They don't care. They're bigots. They don't care. If you don't live up to their ideal of whiteness, they will discard you. They will let you know you're not part of their race. Hell, do you see the stories how they commit hate crimes and shoot up their synagogues? Do you think they give a fuck about them supposedly being white? No, they don't. They see being Jewish as other. And there's some Jews, like, they see themselves as white, right? And then there are some Jewish people, right, because of how they're treated in society, they just identify as more as, oh, I'm Jewish. I don't see my they don't identify as white. Like, because they see how they're being treated, and they don't see themselves as being off of white privilege. Like I said, the Jewish race is a diverse community. It is. But white supremacists have this fucked up idea of what Jews are, and they stereotype them. And I can't listen. I can't even like tell a Jewish person, like, outside of me, like, picking up on certain things that Jews do, like culturally wise, or having a last name that sounds Jewish. I can't really like pick apart a Jewish person unless I'm going to jump into stereotypes. There are black Jews. There's Ethiopian Jews in Israel. And during the hol and during 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 after World War II, that's how the state of Israel was created. And that's a whole nother subject matter. People, the Holocaust survivors, they moved in to the state of Israel. State of Israel was founded in 1948. And the Palestinians, it's kind of like the Palestinians. They're like how we treated Native Americans in this country. I mean, they're fighting over land. The Palestinians, they have the West Bank and Gaza, and the Israeli, you see their descendants from the Holocaust survivors. And then you got Ethiopian Jews moving to Israel that live there as well. So yeah, if anyone want to hop on before I log off of here. Paul says, and some fought against the Ethiopian Jews to be brought back home. Then you said they didn't want them there. Yep, that is true. Yeah. And that's another thing, like, there's even like infighting in the Jewish community. Like, they like try to pick and choose who's more Jewish or what have you. But like I said, it's a diverse community. You can be any race and be Jew. All Jews aren't white. Are there Jewish white people? Yes. So is Black Jews and Asian Jews, Jews from the Middle East, which we call Mizra. And then you got the Sephardi Jews that come from regions like North Africa, Spain, and Portugal. But yeah, like I said, hopefully Whoopi go talk to some Holocaust survivors or what have you, because it's like it does, like you can't just say things like, oh, it was just a white on white crime, it was just white people doing fucked up things towards other white people, when Nazi Germany didn't even see them as one of their own. They saw them as different, separate groups of people. They did not see Jews in their country as one of their own. All they seen was the fact they were Jewish, according like whatever they seen as Jewish, they seen that they weren't part of their Aryan race, or they didn't live up to the blonde hair and blue eyes. So yeah. So when you're like talking about history, don't look at things in a modern perspective. Go into it like how things were during that time period and the country it or whatever, because like I said, other countries have their own racial construct that's different than ours. And you know what I mean? We look at things in a black and white perspective. We look at things, well, you're either black or white. You know what I mean? But it's very complex. So, yeah, I'm about to get off of here. Y'all have a good night. Until next time. Peace.